How to Think Like a Millionaire. Mark Fisher, author, The Instant Millionaire, with Mark Allen, the author of Visionary Business. Chapter 1. Where do I start? The science of getting ahead is getting started. The secret of getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming task into small, manageable tasks and then starting on the first one. Mark Twain. Socrates, the great philosopher, was profoundly aware of the weakness in his own nature. Yet he came to realize that people are evolving beings, capable of changing and growing toward an ideal. People can always improve themselves. That is part of our greatness, and that ability to improve ourselves can develop at any moment in our life. Believe you can be successful. You have to believe you can be successful before you will ever succeed. Sounds like a cliche, doesn't it? But take the time, stop, and think about it. Where else can you begin? Your beliefs create your life experience. It's not the other way around. And no matter what you believed before, you can change your beliefs and change your life. It's impossible to create success without believing deeply that you are capable of being successful. It's impossible to live abundantly without believing that you deserve abundance. Our education, society, and other forms of mental conditioning are all, unfortunately, more pessimistic than optimistic. How often has someone told you not to waste your time on pipe dreams, that you have to be realistic, that you can't have what you want? Because we hear this so often and, as a result, believe it to be true. Wealth always seems reserved for the fortunate few. Success seems an exclusive party to which we are cordially not invited. But this is simply not true. If success and prosperity are an exclusive club, it's because they are so in the minds of the people whose attitudes bar their own entry. Every successful person at some point came to believe that one day he or she would be successful. Your beliefs about success are, no doubt, deeply ingrained, and you have to be open to changing them before you'll ever succeed. Examine your beliefs to see how they affected your life. Many people needlessly sabotage themselves because of the unexamined core beliefs about how the world operates. Mark Allen sums it up in Visionary Business. It's important, in some cases critically important, to regularly take the time to examine our lives. The first thing to do is to take a look at our past as clearly and as honestly as we can and discover the important events and influences that have shaped our lives. Some of these shaping events have led to a very good core beliefs. And those moments should be remembered, and those beliefs should be encouraged and supported. All of us have had someone in our lives who saw our potential and supported us in one way or another. We've all had glimpses of geniuses, our children, and we've all had other forces that have sought to crush our genius through cynicism, through lack of faith. We need to reflect on those things occasionally. Those shaping moments that have had a negative impact on us need to be looked at, and we need to discover the negative core beliefs we formed as a result. Once those beliefs are identified, they can be let go of because they aren't true. They're simply self-fulfilling things that become true if we believe them. That is the process of being conscious, becoming aware of the forces that drives us and learning how to act on those forces, how to shape our destiny, how to become powerful, how to achieve what we want in life. What are the beliefs about success? Don't be afraid to analyze your thoughts more closely. You may be surprised at the barriers you have put between yourself and success. Once you think about it, when you realize that you can change even your most deeply held beliefs, you can come to see that not only is it possible for you to become successful as you would like in all areas of your life, but also that it's easy, much easier than you have ever dreamed possible. In fact, dozens of opportunities appear to you every day. Profitable ideas flash through your mind, but usually let them slip away without pursuing them with concrete action. The art of self-suggestion, which is discussed throughout this book, helps you discover how to develop your powers of intuition, the sixth sense for success. You already have the qualities, but you may not be fully aware of their existence. You only need to access them, and you can quite easily. Success is no harder than failing. For most people, failure has become a way of life. Failure is a hard habit to break. After all, our social climate has given us high expectations, but our social conditioning have given us low morale. It's a vicious cycle. In order to become successful, we have to understand that success is basically no more difficult than failure. It's simply based on a different kind of mental programming, one to which the subconscious mind is not inherently opposed. Doesn't every failure involve a highly complex combination of circumstances? Consider what it takes to miss perfect opportunities, to miss failure every time you attempt something, to avoid meeting the people who could help you on your path to success, to dismiss your ideas as useless when they could lead to something worthwhile, and to continually repeat the motions that lead to defeat. It's quite an achievement to fail, and yet the subconscious mind accepts defeat as natural. Throughout this book, we analyze the vital role the subconscious mind plays in manifesting success. When we understand how to get the power of the subconscious mind working on success rather than failure, we will succeed. It is inevitable. We create all sorts of excuses to block our success. How many of those thoughts creep into your mind? Everything was much easier in the good old days. This excuse is proven wrong every single day of the year. While negative, short-sighted people drone on about unemployment, downsizing, and outsources, thousands of small businesses start and flourish every year. Thousands, globally, millions of people become millionaires each year. Think of the movies produced, the books published, and the opportunities in computer science and the internet media. Think of the parts of the world that are opening to free trade. Becoming successful is not only possible today, it's actually easier than it used to be. The entire world is ours to offer our new ideas, products, services, whatever gift you have to give. Success depends far less on outside circumstances than on our mental attitude, our beliefs about ourselves and the world. I'm too young. Tell this to Debbie Fields, founder and owner of Miss Fields Cookies, who was in her 20s when she achieved success. Or Steve Jobs, founder of Apple Computers, who made millions when he was only 23. His first 10 million at 24 and his first 100 million at 25. There's an old saying, a youth with a single aim in life arrives early at the harvest. Youth is more often not an asset. Lack of experience can be compensated by the boldness, daring, instinct, and originality. History shows us that most successful people started out completely inexperienced and learned as they went along. I'm too old. Colonel Sanders and George O'Keefe would disagree. Napoleon Hill's survey of the wealthy showed that many successful people don't reach their goals until midlife and beyond. It could be that this is the time of reaping the benefits of a series of earlier efforts, while many others are thinking of retirement. Work does not kill. Idleness, on the other hand, is often deadly. People who take early retirement often die younger than those who keep working. The fact remains that many people begin a second or third career, sometimes the most successful of all late in life. Age is irrelevant. Your years of experience, even if you fail, are priceless to you. I have no capital. Most people don't in the beginning. Money isn't essential when we start out. A good creative idea or business idea and a positive mental outlook are essential. Everyone in the world has at least one talent, one passion, one hobby that can become profitable if applied correctly. Contrary to popular belief, there is no shortage of money in this world. The money for launching ideas and furthering good in our world is always available. Poverty seems to be a tradition in far too many families, an inherited trait like the color of one's hair, eyes, passed down from generation to generation. It's often more difficult for people whose families have always been poor to imagine that one day they can become rich. The image that we get of ourselves and of life in general is often tinged with hopelessness, pessimism, and the role models that surround us are not always very inspiring. But there are many exceptions to this. Look at Charlie Chaplin, for example, one of history's wealthiest actors. He spent his youth in poverty, wandering the streets of London. The humiliation of poverty and early contact with life's harsh realities have in many cases spurred people on to great achievement. I'm not educated. Thomas Edison left school before the age of 16. Microsoft Bill Gates is a college dropout. Even though many successful people weren't educated in the formal sense, they did acquire an in-depth knowledge of the industry in which they made their fortunes. I don't have enough talent. Many successful people displayed no early signs of being destined for fame, fortune, and fulfillment. J. Paul Getty said, "I most certainly was not a born businessman." Many people talk themselves into believing that they don't have an inborn talent or what it takes to change their lives. They go to great lengths to justify their lack of success, but in reality, everyone in the world has some talent, some kind of gift. Once we discover our own unique gift, it becomes our purpose to develop it, and doing so leads to our success. I don't have the energy it takes. There is often an important difference between those who succeed and those who fail, their levels of energy. Every action we take requires minimum amount of energy, especially mental or psychic energy. Low vitality inevitably breeds low motivation. This appears to be another inescapable vicious cycle, but all it takes is a tiny spark to ignite the resources of energy that lie dormant within us. The potential energy we have is enormous. In many people, it is hibernating, waiting to be activated. Yet, at the same time, it takes much more energy to do something we don't like than something we enjoy. Think of the energy you have and how time slips away when you are absorbed in your favorite project. When we do what truly interests and motivates us, the energy flows easily and effortlessly. I'm afraid of failure. We're born with two fears: falling and loud noises. All other fears are acquired. Unfortunately, the fear of failure is powerful and widespread, and it is paralyzing. Often deeply embedded within us is the results of past failures from the lack of confidence bred unknowingly by our parents, and it's enforced by society's general negative, short-sighted thinking. The fear of failure is sometimes expressed overtly, but it's most common unconscious and subtly disguised. People don't admit they're afraid of failing. Instead, they denigrate others for building castles in the air, and they scorn dreams and creative ideas. They're champion excuse makers, family obligations, problems, lack of time, lack of money. But wouldn't the family prefer a spouse or parent who is content with his or her work? Wouldn't time be better spent in creative expression? Wouldn't creating fulfillment resolve many problems? Then there are the if only people. If only there was a boss that would notice them. If only they could come up with a good idea. If only they had more talent, ability, time, money, or luck. If only they had been born in different circumstances under another astrological sign. Obviously, if you never try anything, chances are you will never fail. But then you're not likely to succeed either. Success doesn't miraculously appear out of the blue. It's always the result of concrete action and a positive mental attitude. Thomas Edison made hundreds, some say thousands of attempts before perfecting the incandescent light bulb. Abraham Lincoln lost 18 elections before becoming president of the United States. We're not singing the praises of failure, but we know through experience that every personal defeat can be educational in itself, at least if it's accepted with an open mind. All I've done is fail. One underlying reason for many people's paralyzing fear of failure is that they have already failed or at least believe they were unsuccessful in the past. Each new setback reinforces the feelings and undermines their self-confidence. People start with one failure and see themselves as losers, and this in turn leads to more aborted attempts. These failures reinforce loser mentality, and soon it becomes habitual. They end up believing that life is a series of hard knocks, defeats, struggles, and frustrations. Why have you failed until now? Maybe you wanted to fail, at least on some level, possibly subconsciously. If the success you're entitled to always slipped through your fingers, ask yourself why you've condemned yourself to mediocrity. And reassure yourself that even the strongest, most powerful negative programming can be changed quickly and completely. Once you examine it closely, you may be surprised at your inner resistance to success. You may be surprised at your negative inner monologue, which most people relentlessly repeat out of habit. Here's an important point. Your mind is always working for your welfare. It just may be working for a long, outmoded goal. For instance, maybe your higher energy or enthusiasm for something is child-brought harsh criticism from your parents or siblings. You very quickly learn to be quiet and restrained, but now as an adult, there's no reason to remain unseen and unheard, yet no one told your subconscious mind. Look at it this way, our failures should be seen as stepping stones that bring us closer to our goal. Our failures give us tremendous feedback. Isn't it true that with each perceived failure, we learn something of value? Failure is our way of learning and growing. In reality, there is no such thing as failure. It's just part of our education on the way to our inevitable success, if we look at it that way. Your situation will not improve if you do nothing about it. Of course, this is obvious, but then why are so many people waiting for their bad break to win the lottery or for some other miracle? Most people live with the idea that everything will magically work out. And then comes disappointment. Success isn't handed to us on a silver platter. We have to take action. We have to challenge our old beliefs, and we have to risk failure. What do most people do when they need money? Some borrow and get deeper in debt. Others tighten their belts and adapt their needs to their meager income. Instead of challenging themselves to their world to fulfill their dreams, most people limit their dreams to their perceptions of the world's constraints. They have a passive wait and see attitude. Let's see if this miracle happens. And most often, it doesn't happen. Our lives reflect our beliefs. Unlimited success comes from an unlimited belief system. To improve your financial situation, to track down a job, to get a raise in your salary and double your income, to become fit and healthy, you have to passionately want to improve your life. You have to take action, adopt precise measures, and change your attitude. This has to become a fixed object. This overriding desire is mandatory to create the life you want. Determination and will are all the strength you need. Kazuo Anamori, CEO of Coursera International and author of A Passion for Success, put it this way. An entrepreneur must first have a clear vision of what he or she wants. A mere dream of what you want is not adequate. Instead, cultivate a desire so strong and a vision so clear that they become part of your subconscious mind. So many people honestly desire to improve their lives, but still fail in their attempts to become successful. The reason is that they have mistaken wishing for wanting. Wishful thinking is far more common than really wanting something. A wish is weak, changeable, and passive. Wishful thinking is far more common than really wanting something. A wish is weak, changeable, and passive. It's not strong enough to overcome procrastination or obstacles that may rise in the process of getting what you want. Really wanting something is a spur to action. It does not tolerate delays. It bypasses obstacles. It gives us wings to fly. One day, a wise man was asked by a disciple what it took to obtain wisdom. The sage led the disciple to a river and plunged his head underwater. After a few seconds, his anxious follower began struggling, afraid he was going to drown, but the teacher continued to hold his head underwater. The student struggled even harder. Finally, the wise man let him go just before he would have drowned and asked him, when your head was underwater, what did you want to do most? To breathe. The frightened boy answered, well, there you have it. That's exactly how much you must want wisdom. And for those of you seeking to improve your life, that's how much you must want success. Life gives you what you sincerely want. James Allen wrote in his classic, As a Man Think. If you cherish a vision, a lofty idea in your heart, you will realize it. You will become as great as your dominant aspiration. If you content yourself with mediocrity, that is what you will have. Since you're reading this book, you're probably not completely satisfied with your situation, but this dissatisfaction is a gift, as there is something intensely motivating about dissatisfaction. It fuels dreams. As we mentioned before, many successful people had difficult, impoverished childhoods. They felt humiliated. Their desire to rise above poverty and low social status was so intense that it propelled them toward their dreams. It is important to bear in mind, however, that even if you have high aspirations, you will still encounter obstacles. Even with such strong desires, circumstances will change. Still, do not use these circumstances as excuses. Your determination should be strong to overcome any obstacle, foreseen or unforeseen. The dreams you carry and nourish in your heart are your most noble part. Those who stop dreaming, those who ignore their most intense yearnings, are living a life of emptiness and frustration. Don't let this happen to you. Change your life by daring to let yourself be carried away by your dreams and to live out your dreams to the fullest. This philosophy may appear naive. It is. Whether naive, with the more innocence of dreams, nothing great would be created in this world. Humans would not fly, epic films would not have been made, Ford wouldn't have created the mass-produced automobile, Edison wouldn't have lit the world. A serious outlook, cynicism, and even strictly rational thought are great obstacles to your success. We aren't arguing in favor of extravagant, irrational behavior. Far from it. The truth is, at the root of every great discovery and exceptional success story lies a dream, an aspiration, a desire. This desire transcends cynicism and strictly rational thought. Within your deepest desires and highest dreams are the keys to your success. Summary and recommended action. To sum up the first chapter, There are 4 initial conditions to fulfill in order to become successful. Number 1, believe you will be successful. The first prerequisite is having faith, believing that you can attain success, believing in yourself. This belief can be created by using self-suggestion to change your old programming. If you don't believe in yourself or your ideas, you'll never convince anyone else to believe in them. Success never comes out of the blue, handed to you on a silver platter. The obstacles you'll have to overcome, the difficulties you will inevitably meet, and the sustained effort you need to make all require a good dose of faith to spur you on. Number 2, be aware that your situation will not magically change if you do nothing about it. Set a clear goal and take whatever steps you can each week to move a little closer to the goal. Great success is the result of great many small steps. It doesn't require taking huge, scary leaps. It only requires taking an obvious step in front of you. Number 3, passionately desire to improve your life. Make a list of the excuses and the inner monologues that keep success at bay. This stage is highly essential. It makes you aware of your limiting beliefs. Once you know them, you can overcome them. Successful people have learned to release the doubt in their minds. They have tremendous faith in both themselves and in their plans, despite any opposition they may face. Number 4, dare to dream. And dream great dreams. Within your deepest desires and highest dreams are the key to success. Your subconscious mind knows only those limitations you have imposed upon it through your own limiting beliefs. And those beliefs can be changed using the tools in this book. And that is the end of chapter 1.